Hi, I'm Jackie Halleck with Champlain National Bank, and I'm talking about everyone's favorite topic today, money. So a student you're mentoring worked hard and got accepted to college. Now comes the part that most students and families dread, how to actually pay for it. Tuition cost is the #1 reason that students from low-income families choose not to attend college. And even if they figure out a way to pay for it in the first year, the mounting costs year after year will force some students to drop out. Many parents and students suffer from sticker shock when they look at the cost of tuition for a 4-year college, especially if it's a private university. However, don't let this sticker price fool you. Very few students actually have to pay this full amount. In fact, in a recent New York Times article, it said that only 11% of students pay the full tuition price. On average, freshmen at private universities were only paying 50% of the published tuition rate. That's because universities give a variety of merit-based and need-based scholarships, or what really work out to be discounts, to the students they want to attract. But even with discounts, it still costs a lot of money to attend college. So why would anyone, especially someone from a low-income family, want to pay tens of thousands of dollars to get a college education, or even take on such a large amount of debt at such a young age? The reason to do it is simple math. People with college degrees make more money. On average, someone with a bachelor's degree makes $32,000 more per year than someone with just a high school diploma. Not only that, when recessions hit, people who have a college education were able to weather the storm better and either avoid unemployment or get a new job faster than those without a degree. So even if you're looking at having to take out some significant student loans, remember, the idea is that you'll be able to pay them back because you'll be making more money. Of course, really the only way to see those benefits is if they graduate. If a student drops out halfway through, not only will they not have a degree, they'll be saddled with still having to pay off their student loan debt. So as a mentor, it's important that we work with these students, especially when times get tough, to help them finish school. Now, preparing for college, especially financially, is a great way to make sure they finish. That way they go in with their eyes wide open, knowing what they're getting into, so that halfway through, money suddenly doesn't become a worry. We need to be encouraging students to actually read their financial aid packages and not just sign on the dotted line. They really need to own the paying for college process. Take the time to look at the offer and work through how all the pieces will come together. And never hesitate to call the financial aid office if something doesn't make sense. Okay, I'm jumping ahead a little bit because this is assuming that students understand the basics of money. In my experience, money seems completely abstract to most teenagers. If you ask them, how long do you think it takes to make $20,000? Or what could you buy with that kind of money? They probably won't have a clue. Most don't have a realistic picture of how much they'll be making when they graduate. Many think they'll come out of college and immediately land their dream job with a $75,000 salary. We see this all the time in our branches. Kids don't understand why their parents don't have the latest gadgets or cars. When I went to college, I was more focused on figuring out where I wanted to go than how I was going to pay for it. My guess is many students today feel the same way. Paying for college is something that mom or dad, or maybe even a counselor at school will help them figure out. But when we look at the statistics, many adults don't know how to manage their own money, and most certainly don't know how college financial aid works. So if you're thinking to yourself, I struggle with paying my own bills and keeping my own finances straight, how could I possibly assist someone when I can't even help myself? Just know that you're not alone. You don't need to be a financial guru to advise students on some of the basic things they should have in place before they get to campus. What we need to do is make sure students are ready to manage their own money and maybe even avoid mistakes that we made ourselves. So here's what they're going to need. #1, a checking account. My suggestion is to get them to open a checking account at age 16, which then gives them 2 years to practice how to use it before going to college. That way, by the time they get to campus, they'll already know how to use a debit card and be familiar with how to check their account online. They should understand how paychecks and money go in and how much they have to spend. You can set this account up at any local bank. The advent of mobile banking means that having a local bank branch in the same town they go to college isn't necessary. You can do just about anything from your banking app, including sending money back and forth to family and friends, paying bills, watching your balance, and even temporarily suspending your debit card if it ever gets lost or stolen. Once the basics of a debit card are mastered, and if you feel they can handle the responsibility, then get them a credit card. Starting to build credit at a young age will serve them well after school when they start to think about buying their first car or getting their first apartment. Many college students leave school with a very limited credit history. This could hurt them when it comes to doing these basic things. Showing a history of using credit responsibly will help them establish their credit. This means they must pay every bill on time and use no more than 30% of their available credit. Encourage them to just buy 1 or 2 small things a month and then pay them off on time. Of course, make sure they can only spend what they can afford to pay off immediately. Now, when it comes to student loans, they may have the option to pay some of the accrued interest while they're still in school. If they can afford to do it, pay it. They could end up saving themselves thousands in the long run. The great news is that your local bank is here to help students make sure they have everything they need before leaving for school. Just ask us. We want to help young people get set up for financial success. Plus, we've probably seen it all before, and we'll advise them and their parents on the best way to manage their account from home and then from campus. You can also reach out to me anytime, and I'll be happy to answer any questions or point you in the right direction. Thanks for watching, and good luck.